A new track on the 2024 Cup schedule, Jeremy Mayfield's new hot rod, Carson Hocevar's future, and fines. Let's talk about it.
3, 2, 1.
What's up, everyone? Todd Brown, That Racing Show. Thanks for dropping by for this pit stop segment. Got a few things to cover here today, and one of them things is about Carson Hocevar, his short-term future, what he's going to be doing here in the NASCAR Series. Also, a new track being added to the NASCAR Cup schedule for 2024. And Jeremy Mayfield and his new beast of a hot rod that he took to the racetrack here this last weekend in. But first, I want to start out by talking about something that we've been covering this week here on the show. Obviously, so many people have been talking about everything that dealt with the situation at Talladega following the on-track incident between Matt Crafton and Nick Sanchez that carried over into the garage area, caused the fight. If you're not familiar with this, you can check out the previous episodes on my channel here and see everything to get up to date with this. But fines were issued yesterday, and it amounted to $5,000 fine for Nick Sanchez, a $25,000 fine for Matt Crafton. And interestingly enough, the father of Nick Sanchez was suspended from NASCAR for the remainder of the season. So obviously there was more punches thrown, more things that happened in this whole melee than what we know. It's so unfortunate that there was not video of this entire incident so we could see what really happened. Instead of just having to balance out each person's side to figure out the truth. But unfortunately, it looks like that's not going to happen. But I'm glad there was no suspensions on this, as far as the drivers anyway. And hopefully they can put this behind them, but still battle it out on the racetrack. Cool collectively, but I think this is going to be very interesting going into the season finale. So something we're going to keep up with. And I appreciate everybody's comments on the other episodes. Enjoyed reading all of them, and please keep them up. And let me know what you think about these fines. Cool or not. But anyway, let's move on to the next subject here. And this is NASCAR announcing a new track to the Speedway for 2024. Now, this is a track that some fans have been kind of advocating for to get onto the Cup schedule for years. Other people have said, we really don't need that on the schedule. But anyways, Iowa Speedway getting the nod for the 2024 Cup Series. And this is a track that, again, a lot of people have different views on. It's been widely used by many other series over the whole duration of the racetrack, basically. And this is a racetrack that was partially designed with the input by Rusty Wallace. And Rusty's been a big advocator for trying to get racing there at the track in the Cup Series. And yesterday, they announced that it was happening.
This is certainly another landmark day in the history of NASCAR. And today, we're proud to officially announce that on June 16th, 2024, the NASCAR Cup Series will race for the first time at Iowa Speedway.
Now, this track is a 7/8 mile tri-oval. It's considered a short track by all the standards. And by most people, or a lot of people, they say it is one of the toughest short tracks in the country. Now, I don't consider it a short track per se, being a 7/8 mile, but by NASCAR standards, anything under a mile is a short track. But I do think this races differently than a typical short track. I think they're going to put on some really, really great action. Now, a lot of people have been downplaying the short track package for NASCAR in the Cup Series this year. Obviously, hasn't been the best. And that's something that's raising questions about why would you go to Iowa right now with this package. Brad Keselowski spoke on it yesterday, and here's what he had to say about it.
Well, I think the Iowa track is laid out really well with progressive banking. And that progressive banking allows the cars to race in all different spots. And then you can really make moves as a driver, and that's a lot of fun. It's somewhat agnostic to the cars because of the progressive banking. You can find different areas to run and make speed. And I think that kind of works its way out.
So an interesting take on how all this plays out. A lot of people compare this track to Richmond. And again, when you look at the driver's perspective, Brad says, this is a little bit different, the way everything's laid out. There's different grooves, different ways to race around it than the other tracks. So all hopes there that it puts on a great race. And what's really interesting is this is taking place on June 16th of 2024. And this was a race weekend. And typically in the past was at Michigan. Obviously, the schedule's changed over the years. But there's so many racers out there in the Midwest. And it's obviously something that NASCAR has really taken a liking to as they've considered to grow or continue to grow with going to L.A., going to Chicago. And interestingly enough, this year, the Gateway and Chicago races were within a few weeks of each other and just put on a good show that NASCAR said, yes, we're going to go there in 2024 and give it a shot. So I do hope all the fans in the area and supporters of NASCAR get out there to support this race, and we put on a great show. But either way, Iowa is on the schedule for 2024. Now let's talk about Carson Hocevar. This young man right here has been turning a lot of heads with everything that he's been doing. Of course, getting in the car after Noah Gragson jumped out of the number 42 for Legacy Motor Club, and he's continued to show good runs. He's ran 5 races. He's got 4 top 20s with a best finish of 11th at Bristol. And everybody at Legacy Motor Club has really taken a liking to this. Now, obviously, he won't be in the car for next year because John Hunter Nemechek is getting into the 42 when they switch to Toyota for the 2024 season. But Carson is put on a show there, and they obviously have taken a liking. And I think this is something that's really going to continue for Carson's career over the future. Now, obviously, he's got all his ties with Spire Motorsports, and everything that Spire's doing right now is leading to more seats. Obviously, going to be huge improvements. And Carson's name is always going to be in the mix for everything right there, especially after what he's done this year in the 42. But there's also, there's a lot of top Xfinity seats out there as well. Going to be interesting to see where he does land. I'm kind of leaning towards that he will be in the Cup Series, but you never know. He could end up in something for Spire and spend another year there before going to Cup, because a lot of details yet to come out about everything that's transpiring between Trackhouse and Spire. So going to be interesting to see how all of this happens, and looking forward to it. Now, let's get on to the last subject of today. And this is a guy who I've covered on this show quite a bit over the last year, and that is Jeremy Mayfield. Now, Jeremy has been very busy, very active racing this year, running all different series, getting behind the wheel in the Cars Tour Series, running a dirt late model here again just a couple weeks ago, and has been very active in the Grand National Super Series for the last couple years. Now, last year he got in the car, went out, had different wins at different tracks, and come back this year and really started racking up the wins again, was leading the points for a good portion of the time. And if you're not familiar with the Grand National Super Series, they are former Cup cars, former Xfinity, ARCA, Pro Cup cars. They have a very cool rule package, and they basically run 2 50-lap mains a night throughout the season. And Jeremy has racked up these wins, sometimes sweeping the weekend. Between him and A.J. Hendrickson in this series, they're really 2 of the top competitors. But Jeremy had been driving what's pretty much considered a house car for the duration of when he's been in this series. But he went out and bought his own car and showed up at the racetrack with it this past weekend. And I'm going to tell you, that picture right there of that car sitting in front of the shop, that thing looks like a beast with that spoiler on the back there. That thing looks like almost a wing that's on there. But take a look at this. Beautiful, beautiful car out there on the racetrack. And what was cool about this was he was on his social media pages looking for sponsorship for this car. And obviously he got some, because you could see the different sponsors on the side of this car. But as long as there's space, there is room for a sponsor. And he's looking for sponsors. So if you've ever wanted to put your name on the side of somebody's car, but couldn't afford to do something like, a Cup car, Xfinity car, truck, or anything like that, contact Jeremy. Get on his social media, contact him, and let him know what kind of offers you got to put on the side of his car. And who knows, maybe you could see your name on the side of Jeremy Mayfield's car. These races are shown live on the Grand National Super Series YouTube channel that you can check out, and encourage everybody, check out everything that Jeremy's doing, because the man is racing. He's out there doing it, and I love it. Now, as always, appreciate everybody's comments, everything that we've been talking about on here. been some great conversations. I want to keep this up and continue because that's what this channel is about, to talk racing and discuss it with each other. Please, everybody, keep it to a level that's, hospitable. But, hey, it's racing. You got to have some debate. So I love all the back and forth banter, and I want you to keep it up. If you like what we're doing here, please like and subscribe to this channel because this is what it's all about. Having fun, talking racing, and just enjoying the community at large. Race fans, racers, and everything. And got a lot of cool things coming up this week with Charlotte right here in my backyard. So looking forward to that. But anyways, I thank everybody for watching the show. And as always, hope everybody's having a great week. And we'll see you at the checkered flag.